All right, in the world of entertain, educate, and edify, this is an educational segment, and we want to touch on some of the questions that you should ask a dealer when you're purchasing a car, and ones that you shouldn't. And this is different from the ones that we've covered before, like, how many owners does a car have? Where did the car reside? We're talking about like negotiation tactics and how you get the information you want the best. And of course, this was spurred by, silly questions that I get coming in and just bang my head against the wall going, why are you asking that? That doesn't help you out. And it really doesn't help me out either. So again, this is for entertainment, but also to help people out in terms of when you're buying a car, how do you best get to the bottom of what you really want to know? One of the first questions, car dealers hate this question, new car dealers anyway. What is the invoice? Right?
What is that, Doug? What is the invoice?
The invoice theoretically is the price that the dealer paid to the manufacturer. Now, the last 4 years, this really hasn't been a question because the market has been over sticker. So like asking that is completely irrelevant, but it's starting to come back. And prior to 2020, that was definitely a negotiation point, right? People were negotiating from invoice versus from sticker.
I mean, with the way the Z06 market's going, they might be able to start asking that question here pretty soon.
You are correct. However, the invoice is not typically the actual cost that the dealer pays the manufacturer, and it doesn't matter anyway. The old salesman response is, well, do you go into McDonald's and ask them what they paid for a hamburger?
I've truly never understood. The dealer needs to make money. Like the people that seem to think that they can go into a dealer and just like get the car for what they paid it's kind of wild.
Right. Yeah. You should be doing your homework and comparing other comparable vehicles, but work off of sticker price and other comp cars and say like, okay, well, what is my deal relative to another vehicle at another dealer that's the same?
Yeah.
Compare apples to apples. I recognize people want to use the invoice as a point from negotiation, but just use the sticker price.
That's like asking a private party you're trying to deal with, well, what did you pay?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't matter. What is market value? Asking, do you have service history? Now, every time
that's a
I
good
ask
question.
You're right, but it isn't. Every corporate dealer I deal with now, they're so afraid of privacy violations that they'll just send you the Carfax. Default answer, well, it's on Carfax. Here's the Carfax. So they're not actually going to send you the service history. It's too much work. It's too much work. A small independent dealer might take the time to redact the records, scan them in, stuff like that. But it never works. The better question would be, can I see a copy of the inspection or service done in-house?
Okay.
Right? Because then you know like what's recent and what's relevant. And if they haven't done any of that, well, then maybe you need to do some more due diligence.
Well, and I think too, obviously having a robust service history is really important if you're going for like a blue chip car or something that has great provenance. But I also think that, you want to see that it's been taken care of.
Sure.
I think that's an important thing. But also at the end of the day, if it's had its oil change, fluids changed and stuff done like recently when it should have been, probably fine.
Sure. And we're talking more in generalities, normal cars here, not necessarily the super specialty cars. Yes, you want service history on the specialty cars, but the absence of a physical service history doesn't mean it was serviced. I'd rather see a comprehensive inspection report because you could test the moisture content on the brake fluid. You could have 0 receipts for the brake fluid being replaced, but if the moisture content is less than 1%, it was replaced.
It's good to go.
Yeah. Here's a great one. What's your best price?
Oh, well, the one on the website there, kiddo.
Pretty much. Yeah. You're never going to get a good answer from a dealer on that. So stop asking it. Just make them an offer. Yeah. Here's a good one. What does the car need / does the car need anything?
So this wasn't with the dealer, but I asked that question on a particular website with the Corvette pace car that I currently own. Said needs nothing. Tires were replaced whenever, yada, yada. Guess what happened when I got the car in, Doug? Tires were from 2002.
Yep.
So old.
And it needed a whole bunch of other things.
So many, all the fluids needed replaced, whole business. So it needed a lot. The car was fine. Nothing dramatic, but to be roadworthy, to do what I wanted it to do, needed a bunch of stuff.
Yep. Well, and the fundamental principle here is it's not the dealer's job to tell you the bad. It's to tell you the good. So it's up to you to find out yourself what it does need or what's wrong with it. Now, you could do that. You can look at it yourself. You could have a third-party inspection done, and that's a better question, right? Can I have a third-party inspection done? Any good, transparent dealer will allow that with certain contingencies. But that's a way better question than what does the car need? You're assuming the salesman even knows. Half the salesmen haven't the faintest idea. Well, the tread's fat on the tires, but they're 20 years old.
When I was looking for my 996, I went to go test drive a couple, and one of them, the salesman was so upfront because I wanted to take it for a test drive, and they let me do that. And he's like, yeah, honestly, you know more about this car than I do. It just showed up yesterday. And I was like, all right, guy doesn't know what's going on.
What's my monthly payment?
Ugh.
Do not ever negotiate based on monthly payment. The dealer wants you to ask that question because then they can hide all the rest of the numbers. Oh, it's $400 a month on a 30-year term. Specific questions. What is the price of the car? What are your dealer fees? What is the total out the door price with taxes and dealer fees? Give me an itemized list. What is my trade-in credit? What is the actual value of my trade-in? Get all the numbers, add them up yourself, make sure they make sense. What is my interest rate? Ask that question. What is the term of my loan? What are the bank fees? Get everything itemized, look at it, make it make sense to you. Do not ask what your monthly payment should be because that is the question salesmen love to hear.
Well, and I like that if you do some of your homework ahead of time and you come in prepared and you have yourself pre-approved for some financing so that you have an idea of a rate and a term and everything else, plug for PenFed, you have a potential bargaining chip. You can say, I'm already good to go. I've got this financing ready to buy this car if I want it as is. If the dealership can provide you better financing with a better rate, go for it.
Sure.
But you at least are, like you have pointed out, you're talking about the numbers. You know what you're paying out the door and after the term of the loan for the car.
Absolutely. Can you send more info?
If they had more info, wouldn't that be presented? This isn't a Facebook Marketplace listing. Ideally.
No, there's a lot of generic write-ups on dealer websites, which are ridiculous. But from the dealer perspective of things, when I get that question, I'm just like, what do you want to know? And it runs the gamut. Sometimes people literally ask me the most basic things. Well, how many miles? What are you asking for it? What color is it? I've gotten that. What color is it? I'm like, did you not see the listing?
What?
From a customer perspective, what the heck are you asking? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've responded to these inquiries going, sure, I'd be happy to. What information would you like? Nothing. No response.
So weird.
Now, the better thing to ask is what you actually want to know, right? So as a dealer, and I think most salesmen, we make fun of these people on our dealer pages. We get the numbered checklists of very specific questions that people want. It's, here comes the know-it-all. Like, this is the guy that's going to come in New Balances and look underneath the car. Well, there's a reason. It's because the salesmen / the dealers don't give the customer the information that they want. But know what information you actually want. Like, honestly, I'll take the checklist person almost any day over the generic, can you send more information? Because at least then there's a clear path forward. There's easy, maybe not easy, but there's direct answers to direct questions. I know exactly what I need to provide to the customer in order to get a deal or not get a deal. I don't want anything hanging out there of like, well, is this guy real or is he not? Or I don't even know. So yeah, I'll take the numbered checklists anytime. But the real, what that point is really illustrating is, like all of these questions, don't ask kind of vague, open-ended questions. Get specific. Know what you actually want to know. And that may require doing a little bit of extra homework beforehand, but know what you want to know and ask the dealer those pointed questions.
Well, so I have run into an issue, and Doug, I'm curious of your thoughts. I've not bought many cars. I've bought a handful. But for the most part, when I call the dealer or I talk to the owner, as long as the car is what I think it is, I'm ready to buy. And I don't know if that's a common scenario. So I have very specific questions, but I find that because I'm already at this point, I feel like I just need to have somebody else look at it, to, like a PPI, to like make sure it's not a piece of garbage. Mm-hmm. Like, would it be like, how do you start the conversation? Because I almost find myself grasping at straws. Is it just because I don't want to ask these vague questions? I want to seem serious and interested.
Well, you're also a highly informed buyer. Right. And we're talking about specialty cars with you.
That's
right?
true.
On
That's
a run-of-the-mill car, Toyota Camrys are commodities, right? There's nothing really that makes one car significantly better than the next unless there's crazy things like a rebuilt title or something like that. I think for a lot of people, they just want a conversation. They want to start a conversation. And there's the art of sales, right? Is they just want to talk about what they've already read online. They just want to feel better about it. They want to be reassured by the salesman that the things that they read online are true. Whether or not they actually are is a totally different story.
That's true.
But honestly, as a buyer, that is not the best tack to take. You want to know what you actually want to know. If you don't know, then fine, just ask random questions. Yeah. But ask those specific questions. Don't ask questions with assumptions that you're going to get what you want to know. Don't ask open-ended questions. Make the dealer provide you what you actually need to know. And if they don't, then get it yourself. Have third-party inspections done. Do the other things necessary in order to satisfy yourself with the condition of the car so that you can buy it. Same thing with negotiations, with pricing. Again, going back, do your research. Know what your interest rate should be. Know what the price of the car should be. Don't expect the dealer to provide you with that information. They're there to sell you the car. That's totally fine. It's not their job to inform you and educate you and get you to the point of, they just want to sell you the car. So ask the questions you really, really want to know. Speaking of car dealers, that brings us to the props and flops. Brought to you by our favorite car dealer, Switchcars.
You might be biased, but I guess I am too. Switchcars is the enthusiast dealership where we buy, sell, and consign only cars that we like ourselves. Check out our handpicked inventory at switchcars.com and mention Switchcast for special pricing. Find more information at switchcars.com or come visit our showroom in beautiful Twinsburg, Ohio. Especially beautiful this time of year. Goodness, the trees are fantastic.
They are.
Love the early evening drives.
Pick of the week this week is a 2013 BMW E92 M3. That's a coupe, for those of you that don't know the lingo. Competition package, which means it has different wheels.
Yeah.
White over tan interior, 55,000 miles, nicely serviced. We will provide you the service records that we have if you ask. But we might tell you they're on Carfax. And we do have an in-house service receipt and inspection and paint meter readings and all those specific things, underside photos that you would want. But don't ask us for more info. Ask us specifically for the things that you want to know.
How long have you had the car, Doug? Why are you selling it?
It doesn't matter. That is funny when people don't realize that we're a dealer and they ask us those types of private party questions. Yeah, why are you selling it? To pay the bills, to feed my family, we're friggin' car dealer. Our flop of the week. A McLaren locally catches on fire. The owner attempts to put it out by popping the engine cover, which isn't a good start unless you have a fire extinguisher handy.
Usually where the fire's at, if I've got to be honest.
Yes, but popping the engine cover sucks air into
oxygen,
the engine bay, right? So you never want to just be like, whoop, and open the engine cover. Anyway, so he pops the engine cover, and tries to blow on it to put it out.
It could have been a big birthday candle. He thought it was one of those joke ones that just doesn't go out.
Yeah, I gave him a lot of crap for that. I'm like, that's what I do in my, on my bonfire to get the fire going more, because there's oxygen in our breath. And
I mean, it's kind of amazing. Like, it must have been terrified. Obviously, car on fire is a huge thing. Adrenaline's running. You're not really thinking straight. You're like, I blow out candles. But yeah, when you blow a campfire, it gets bigger. So you just step away from the vehicle.
Yeah. And I think he then got like a bottle of water from someone and tried to pour that on it, which It's either an electrical or a chemical fire with a car. So that isn't a good idea either. I'll give him a pass there, but blowing on it. Oh boy. Our prop of the week, Arnie Toman, who is known internationally for driving long distances at a very high rate of speed, has completed a different endurance challenge. He walked 50 miles in one day.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is significant.
Our friend Dave Marr, fellow cannonballer, said that he's not sure he will walk 50 miles cumulatively for the rest of his life, nor does he have interest in doing so. And he's a fit dude.
Yeah, seriously.
Arnie averaged 3 miles an hour on this trek, which is only 100 miles an hour short of his cannonball record speed.
He's got some time to make up.
Yes. Yeah, just a wee bit. And he did take an extra pair of shoes with him this time. That's an Easter egg for those of you that know about our cannonball story. He thought that was overkill on the cannonball because he wanted to pack light, but I think he left a pair of shoes at his aunt's house, which was about the midpoint. So he swapped out shoes, and to me, this would have been a soul-sucking exercise.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine.
But I think he left a pair of shoes there, so he didn't have to do any soul searching on his way. Yeah.
Was this on the heel of any other adventure he had going on?
Good one. Sneaker, I barely know her.
Ethan, ended quick.
Thank you for joining us for Switchcast with Doug Tabbitt and Tyler Sanders, produced by Ethan Huffnagel. Switchcast is an automotive entertainment and opinion show, and nothing we say should be taken very seriously. We do not give tax, investment, legal, emotional, or professional advice, and the only licenses we hold are driver's licenses. The opinions expressed on this show are exclusively held by the people pontificating at that moment and do not reflect the values of our producers or sponsors. Our theme music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. If you like this show, you can stream it in its entirety on your favorite audio podcast platform. Check out switchcast.live for more info.